So about a month ago, I went out at night and shot the fog, and it was beautiful. Let's talk about it. Man, time goes. So over a month and a half ago, I went out at night and shot the fog. And ever since then, I've been trying to get to those photos, but life just keeps coming up. That's just how it is. That's just how it goes. But I'm happy to say that I finally had some time to put this video together because it was such a beautiful night. I wanted to at least share that with y'all. I actually did a short when I shot that because it was easy, right? Couple seconds here, boom. And those were the images from those couple of nights of fog. But here it is now, better late than never. I'm glad that I actually got a chance to make this video. Okay, so this year, specifically in the fall, it was really unseasonably warm. So when the fog came rolling in, it just stayed for about 4 or 5 days, I wanna say. But it was really thick for at least 2 nights. And of those 2 nights, I finally said, I have to shoot this. And you know, if you're a photographer, you've probably experienced this before where you see the fog and you kind of like panic because you've got to get it right now because you don't know how long it's going to be there and you don't know what you're shooting, if it's enough, so you keep shooting and shooting. Anyways, that's my experience. But I got little kids, so I can't just up and leave and shoot everything and just stay out all night. I just can't. But what I can do is plan, focus, and then execute. And the first night, I was like, man, this is incredible. This fog is so thick. I shot it, I was proud. And then the following night, the fog was actually better. So I said, I gotta go back out. So in total, I would say I was shooting for about an hour and a half. And what I learned from that was just, you get what you get when you can. So now that I had my plan and I knew I was gonna shoot, I had to have some tools, and my tools were pretty simple. Number one was my car. The second tool in my kit over the 2 nights was my Canon 6D. I really wanted to use my Ricoh GR2, but I know that camera in low light situations is just not gonna do it, even if I have it on a tripod. I pulled out my old reliable Canon 6D, and of course, it did the job immediately. I was like testing without a tripod and it was perfect. So the third part of my kit was my 85mm lens that I usually use for portraits, and my 24 wide, which is great, obviously, for getting the entire scene. And finally, my main tool, tripod. To even get a 1 or 2 second exposure, you just want that stable ground so you're not getting that shake that you can't really notice until you get back into Lightroom. So I'm gonna pull up 1 or 2 images and then we'll hop into Lightroom so you can see how I edit images like this. I like to keep it simple. I try to do as much in camera while I'm on location, trying to get the best exposure, the exact mood that I want. So when I come back into Lightroom later, it's just a minimal tweaking here and there. I don't want it to look like something that I can't even recognize on my own. That's just my process. So let's get into Lightroom now and see what we can do. This first image will be ISO 100 on my 24mm lens on my Canon 6D. F-stop is 3.5 at 1 second. That's my shutter speed. So everything's in place. I have my tripod. This car was sitting at the end of the block, and that was also where one of those street lamps were, and a tree. Perfect setting, but it looks great from this vantage point. So let's keep it going. Exposure, let's raise that up. This is usually what I do. Look at this. It's like you can make it almost like daylight, and this fog was so crazy, yet these streaks make it like majestic, which I love. I like to tweak. I don't know, I can't assume, and I don't want to assume that I know what I'm gonna do for each edit. So in this case, whites, blacks, let's see. Everything's good so far. Let's see what this contrast is saying, because just again, I don't know what I'm gonna like until I do it. Now let's go to some of my favorite presets, and those are the style cinematic. And so I'll go through these, but I mean, they're a little bit over the top, as you can see. Usually I mess with CN6. You see a few other ones here. The subtlety of CN10 is nice, but it looks a little fake or a little bit too much like a movie or something. Though I do like the cinematic looks a little much. So let's go back to 6 and we can compare before, after, before, after. So I'll do that. And then let's go to make some adjustments from there. So I would maybe pull down the saturation. Well, let's just see. I don't want it to be too orange. I want to see things, so I'm just gonna get everything just a touch brighter here. All right, almost done. Pull my clarity down. I like that little bit of a misty look. It's already foggy, so why don't we just add a little bit more mysteriousness to the photo. I'm loving it. So far, so good. So as of right now, I do like the 16:9, but I'm open to square. Like I said in a few videos before, I'm open to shooting square. I don't mind it. So far, so good. I'll leave it like that, but as easy as that, that's to me is a done edit. And when we look at the original from here, and then we got to here, not too bad at all. Pull those highlights down just a bit, nothing overexposed. Voila. All right, so now let's go on to the second day of this intense fog. This time I was in the car. So I got a few from the car. Then I stumbled on this right here at the lights. It was great. It was a great moment. So I had the 85 1.8, 1/100th of a second. So is it super sharp? No, there's a touch of blur there. Let me see. So let's just get to the edit. I put the preset CN9, so let's see how that went. Already loved it. This to me is why I love some of these presets that Lightroom already has. As much as I like to edit from scratch, sometimes that preset, it's almost like it reads your mind and understands what you like, and boom, you can just kind of go back to that. Now, the little problem here was there was a car and its lights. Not that I couldn't fix it in post, but I wasn't interested in doing that. I'm into this 1:1 square ratio. So that's what I did here. So before, after, so now we're on to that. And then I just messed around with the crop here, centered it back. And then what I'd like to do is, this is where I did my edit. Clarity. I put it to -61. And why is that? It's already foggy. You're losing sharpness. Matter of fact, I think it's giving it more of a mysterious look. This is the simplest of edits, right? Import, preset, couple of crops, clarity. Love that mist that I created around it. It's like I put a filter on it, right? Like a pro mist filter or something like that. Dehaze. So before the dehaze, let's go to 100%. 200 maybe too intense. Let's go to 100, right? So clarity, dehaze, you can barely see. It's just a subtleness. Texture, grain. I added some grain. Why are you adding grain? Well, I was just trying it out. So I put 76% on the grain, then down to 51, then down to 11. All right, so I got it subtle. Fix the temperature just a touch. All right, little tint, contrast, done and done. This is one of my favorite shots of the night. Let's talk about it in the comments. Let me know how you edit. Is this something that you're into, using their presets in Lightroom, or do you have your own presets? I know everybody's different when it comes to editing. It was a great night. I think it was well worth it. I got the 2 images. I'll pop them on the screen so you guys can, take a bigger look at it. Okay, so question of the day, what focal length do you prefer when shooting night, say street photography? 85, 24, 50, 35, what do you shoot in this type of situation? One thing the fog does is take me into a place that I love being, and that's in silence. It's very nostalgic to me. I think of Back to the Future. I think of Star Wars. I think of being misunderstood. I think of talking less and doing more. There's so many random thoughts that are associated with the fog and night shooting specifically. It's like another world, and I love that. And the fog really sparks my creativity in a way that just a normal night wouldn't. It definitely was inspiring. I'm a little surprised that I took this long to even just get to those photos, but good lesson. You take the photos, do something with them, make something, create something, share something with the great work that you're doing. Anyways, until the next video, stay creative and believe in yourself.